Hey, how's it going? Carson back here with another comic haul. This time I'm just going to try to lump the entire month of September into one big haul. This probably isn't even all the books I bought because I've already started sorting into the collection. So here's just a few highlights of some comics and a few toys I brought along the way as well. We'll show at the end. And I've got a Loot Crate unboxing basically where they're doing this thing where they have the NECA Turtles in each of these boxes. They did a big one last year I completely missed out on. So when they announced this wave, there was no way I was going to miss out on getting those NECA TMNT figures because I can't find them for hardly anything around here. So we're going to take a look at that. But first I want to highlight a couple of reads I got a chance to read the month of September and kind of early October as well. So the first one, I just read this bad boy last night. Batman Earth 1 Volume 3. And I know DC has overexposed Batman to the point where I think we're almost all just burned out on thousands of versions of Batman and Harley Quinn, the Joker out there. But I still have really enjoyed these Earth 1 volumes from Jeff Johns and Gary Frank. The other two I think are very underrated reads from the past that these were kind of introduced when there was only like one DC continuity around the late end of the New 52, maybe even before that. I don't know. They've introduced so many random new things over the last 10 years. It's kind of all a blur at this point. But I feel like this Earth 1 mystique has kind of lost a lot of itself along the way, but yet they still make these Earth 1 books. But for the most part, all the ones I read, especially the Batmans and the Gabriel Hardman Green Lanterns, have been very good reads. In this one, you get a fresh take on the Two-Faced character where he had basically a twin sister. And if you've read Volume 2, I guess spoilers if you haven't read Volume 2, but hey, it's been out a while. Two-Face Harvey Dent dies at the end of that, and his sister kind of gets a little scar on her cheek. So this book kind of starts out, is she going to be Two-Face in this Earth 1 realm? Or is she going to be kind of more like a Harvey Dent type character from Long Halloween that helps Batman? So you get all these questions answered in this volume, as well as kind of almost throwing Killer Croc in there as another assistant to Batman, which I really enjoyed that because Killer Croc is typically just depicted as a bad guy character, as a mindless monster, but in this one he actually helps Batman and Alfred quite a bit. Just the dynamic between this version of Alfred and Killer Croc is a lot of fun in this one. And then you get another new version of Catwoman thrown in, which I could have did without Catwoman in this volume, but I think at this point they realize he's only come out once every few years, so they're just kind of throwing as many things in as possible because, big spoiler, at the very end of this, they're probably going to make a Volume 4 because Joker is your final splash panel. So I really enjoyed this. I'm going to keep picking these up as long as they make them, I suppose. Hopefully they don't just get burned out or realize there's like no money in the Earth 1 name, which there probably really isn't. But I've really enjoyed the Batman, the Green Lantern Earth 1s. I kind of still need to catch up on the Superman ones, so I'll definitely keep checking these out. They're a lot of fun. If Last Ronin comes out, I can't not talk about Last Ronin. So this is Last Ronin, issue number 4, and just, I guess, a very quick review on this one. This is probably, I agree with some of the people in the community, I think this is one of the weaker issues of the 4 release so far, because it's kind of been formulaic at this point. So the first issue was to establish the world of Last Ronin, which was great. Definitely captured the imagination of a lot of readers out there. And then issues 2 and 3 and now 4 have been like, basically you got the turtle on the cover, how's that turtle gonna die, basically. So this issue 2 was Raphael, issue 3 was Leonardo, and then Casey Jones gets his demise as well. And then this one is Donatello and Splinter. So I would say out of the way all the turtles went out, this was kind of the weakest. It was what it was. I didn't necessarily hate it, but you kind of just get the formula at this point, so it kind of just eliminates some of that, unpredictability that was in some of the other Last Ronins. But the kind of cool thing is at least you get more of the future storyline with Last Ronin Mike, April, and basically Casey Jr. going after Baxter Stockman and the empire he's built in Neo New York, or whatever you want to call it. But I feel like that storyline was a bit rushed to make room for the Donatello Splinter stuff, where I would rather than just have always covered these flashbacks in a few pages, maybe minus the Raphael one, because that was some pretty powerful stuff. But I just want to see the future they've built, and Michelangelo having to fight his way through this future to get to the Foot Clan, basically. That was the most entertaining part of the first one, obviously, but we've kind of lost our way for the most part by this issue. So issue 5, I think, it's gonna have to be a pretty big finish. Now that we all know how the Turtles have demised, issue 5's got to be a pretty big one, where it's just the last Ronin versus the Foot Clan. So hopefully issue 5 will make up for kind of all these like missteps the Last Ronin has had along the way. It's not a perfect book, but I still really enjoy Last Ronin. So you still Turtle fans out there, you still got to check it out. I'm not saying not to check out this book. You still got to get it, but hopefully issue 5 sticks the landing that issue 1 started the launch of, because the other 3 have been on and off, let's be honest. Alright, so time for just what books have I been picking up in the month of September. So I guess I'll start off with me and my friends from the Comic Corps. We got a chance to go to Orlando, Florida, and we actually, while we were down there, we got a chance to visit Whitewell Comics, so that was awesome, and he took us to a comic shop. So unfortunately, since, you know, we wanted to enjoy a lot of Orlando, our time was pretty limited on, you know, hitting up all the shops in the area. I don't know how, I'm sure there's plenty of shops in Orlando, Florida to hit, but we hit one, and I did find a couple items there. We weren't there for too long, but when I'm on the road, I'm always looking for, you know, decent deals in some of these like weirder variants that you don't find every day. And one of the variant collections I'm going after is the Jeff Johns era Green Lantern B covers, because they were, I think they're like 1 in 10s, 1 in 25s back in the day. They weren't just like a 1-in-1 split back in the late 2000s. But basically, anytime I see these things for like cover price, so I just go ahead and pick them up, because I just never see them at all, and trying to pay eBay and shipping, who wants to do that? So the one I found was Green Lantern Corps 53. Really cool cover on that one of Sinestro's daughter. So just a B cover I have not seen in the wild before. I think Pat Gleason did this one, since he was the former artist on Green Lantern Corps, and this is where Tyler Kirkham had taken over with the Tony Bedard stuff. So speaking of Tony Bedard, the other book I found in that shop for cover price as well was Green Lantern Corps 48, which is the A cover, which is cool and all, but if you notice, it had an additional Tony Bedard signature on there. So I really like Tony Bedard, so anytime I see his signature for cover price, I'd probably pick it up. So I did, because I was in a shop in Florida, and I felt like I needed to pick up at least 1 or 2 things. So these are the 2 books I got from that shop, so that was pretty cool. The next couple things I got, there was an auction. I believe it was Gorilla Todd Comics had an auction. One of the people on his auction threw up 2 books, and he was actually nice enough to lump in 2 more books for just as a gimme, actually. So big thanks to that seller. But the main reason I had to bid on it was these 2 books right here. So this is TMNT number 1, 2009 color reprint. I have barely ever seen anything about this book before. Even on eBay, if you search for it, there's not tons of listings on it, so it's fairly limited, especially since it was printed in 2009. So I really wanted to copy this, and it turns out, doing a little bit of research on this book, this is an error copy. So if you go to recalledcomics.com, I think it tells you there's only like 700 of these total. So got a really good steal of a deal on this, but also in the lot he bundled another TMNT Adventures number 1, first appearance of Krang, Bebop, and Rocksteady. So anytime I see this book, if I see this book for like $40, $50 or less, it's pretty much consistently a $100 book in good condition now on eBay. So I kind of am looking to upgrade my copy. So I think once I put it in this bad boy here, the presser, and get it, do some cleaning techniques on it, I think I can get a good upgrade to the copy I currently had. Definitely, the seller in the auction said as well, it definitely needs a press pretty bad, and everything that he advertised was absolutely right. So I will be pressing and cleaning this book. May send to CGC if I'm happy to with the results. But he also threw in Amazing Spider-Man 167, which, hey, I'm always good for some Amazing Spidey. I'm always filling this run as well. So I was very happy to see that. And then he also threw in a Department of Truth number 1 4th printing. So, hey, you can't have enough Department of Truth in your lives, right? So, really cool book to have. I already got, I think, each cover of the first print, so now start run building the rest, I suppose. Just some cover buys and some other things I read in the month of September. So here's just some random local shop pickups I accumulated in September. Got Titans United. I actually did open this thing and read it. I have no idea what they're going for here. Is this their continuity? Like I said, DC continuity is so all over the place at this point. I don't know really what to make of any of their books right now. Because if this is continuity, sure, that's fine. But you also have, like, the other Titans Academy, I think, still going. Like, does that tie into this? Because there's a lot of characters that are the same. Like, what is going on? But I do like the team here, even though it's obviously just trying to go on the success of the TV show on HBO Max. I mean, there's even a sticker at the bottom. So, whether this falls in the grand scheme of DC continuity or lack thereof, I have no idea. But it was an okay read. I may check out the second issue, but it is only a 1 of 7. I'm probably just going to wait for a digital edition for this one. So, I think I'm good on that. I'm not going to get issue 2, maybe, unless it just has a cool cover or something. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 121. They're still going pretty good in this TMNT run. Has lost a lot of steam over the last 6 or 7 issues, I gotta admit. But I think I think I say this every time I talk about Ninja Turtles, though. I think it's going to start to ramp up and get a little bit better. But they need to turn that corner sooner rather than later. They've already brought back Shredder, who's kind of fighting for him in the shadows. So we need to get Shredder involved a little bit more into the book. And then there's just a lot of extra characters being thrown in, and they need to get their focus back. But I do like what they're doing with Old Hob, and even Ray Fillet's been thrown into this whole mess now. So they got some good things going, but yeah, they need to turn that corner and really start ramping up the storylines quick. I was getting this Dark Ages #1. I just saw Tom Taylor's name on it, and I was like, I'll check it out. But once again, fuzzy continuity. I have no idea why this book is needed. I thought it was going to be like another big event, but it seems to be just a parallel universe event where the lights go out, power goes out in the Marvel Universe. Heroes fight a villain, they die. Other characters are just trying to get the lights back on. The reason I did get this book for free at least, though, because I reserved one of the blank covers, and as you can notice, there's a rip right there, so my shop owner just threw it in my pile for free, and he asked if I wanted another one. I went home and read. I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't need a copy of this. I thought about just seeing if I could do an experiment and rip the black part of the cover off, because you get a nice, near mint regular A cover out of that, I guess. So maybe I'll experiment with this, see if I can get this ripped cover removed. But I wasn't happy with that read, I gotta be honest. I definitely don't plan on reading any more of that. Another one got the Superman 78 #1. I'm still gonna have to read all of these like Superman and Batman movie sequel comics at some point, but I've really been enjoying at least the covers on these so far. Don't know if I'm going to get them all, but I at least wanted to get the first issue of each of them, so I had to get an issue of #1. Once again, another copy of Turtles. This time it's 120. Pretty much same story as 121. Unfortunately, my stack is just out of order here. Here was a good read. Spider-Man Life Story Annual #1. Really good J. Jonah Jameson side story within this Chip Zdarsky Life Story universe. So don't sleep on this if you're a fan of Life Story, but I just don't know why we needed this annual. It's like weird Marvel annuals. They always like to release annuals when there's not even a series going somehow. But nonetheless, this was a good read. Hopefully those of you who bought trades can find a way to read this, because they're probably going to drop a new trade with this in it, I'm assuming, or some sort of hardcover. But if you like Spider-Man Life Story, don't sleep on picking up this annual, because it was very good. Ice Cream Man 25. So I don't know how much longer Ice Cream Man's going to run. Another good quality read here, though, if you like horror comics. This time there's a plane flying with all kinds of crazy things going on it, and every time the plane flies above some place, that place gets messed up too. So, but they always try to shoehorn in at the end of random issues the origin or character of Ice Cream Man, And I always say, like, I don't need to know more about this character. I just want to see these fun stories with this Crypt Keeper type character integrated into it, causing havoc and chaos for the individual in the comic. But they like to shoehorn in that little bit of origin, and so far I'm still, in 25 issues, not sold on the characterization of the actual Ice Cream Man. But maybe one day, like the Turtles need to turn that corner, they'll turn that corner and either stop doing that or make a really good arc that'll drag me right back into that character. But right now, I'm good with just the typical Ice Cream Man format. The couple times they dedicated an issue to his origin, those are my least favorite issues of the whole run so far. But still a fun issue. It's a double size. Here's Echo Land's J.H. Williams III. I had to pick this up at least just, and as you can tell, it is a vertical or a horizontal presented format, so the whole comic actually reads this way. It's printed that way. The art is very good in this. The story didn't do too much to sell me on the comic, though. One day I'm going to have to probably read this when it's fully out or trade or in digital form, but if you like the art from Batwoman, that run that J.H. Williams did, you'll definitely enjoy Echo Land's #1. Telepaths #1, J. Michael Straczynski and Steve Epting. Thought it was a pretty solid creative team, but I gotta be honest, this read didn't do too much for me. So I'm probably not going to pick up an issue 2, but issue 1, it was okay. If you like JMS, you may enjoy Telepaths #1. The Last Flight Out, went ahead and just threw this in the pile. I'll usually like Mark Guggenheim's work as well, but kind of like the J. Michael Straczynski stuff, it was just average for me. So I won't be pursuing an issue 2 unless I hear the whole trade is good, and you guys know the rest at that point. Here was a cool one, Jeff Lemire's Maze book. So if you guys like Jeff Lemire's like kind of crazy art style with some of that Twin Peaks influence, you definitely got to pick up Maze book. I'm probably going to see if there's an issue 2 or 3 available soon and keep adding these because I was very happy with the issue 1. Here is Gun Honey, which I don't even know if I can show this one. Maybe I'll put like a goofy censored thing, or maybe not. But I had to get the Adam Hughes cover on that one. So that was just purely a cover by there. Speaking of purely cover buys, had to get Deathstroke Inc., this awesome Black Canary Adam Hughes cover on that one. So Adam Hughes fans definitely don't sleep on this cover here. It's one of his better ones that he's done for DC, in my opinion, for a very long time. So I'm very happy. Probably my last favorite one, which I don't even know if it was a favorite, was the one with Crypto in the middle, and then they ended up recalling it because someone didn't like it, and they reprinted it later. But I really like this Hughes cover quite a bit. Still picking up the Red Room stuff from Ed Pixor. Cool art style for sure in this if you like the underground type comics. Like I said, I'm still picking up the Batman 89 stuff, same story. Superman 78, probably going to keep picking these up because who doesn't like those characters from that time. I am so far behind on this read, I just need to get all the issues together and do a complete reread. But it's Fantastic Four Life Story, #4. Still haven't read this one, but I definitely plan on sitting down and reading all of them once they're out. I had to pick up Harley Quinn, the animated series. It's based off the HBO Max/DCU series, which is a very good series if you haven't had a chance to catch it. So, very good stuff there. Cover by for me. Love Tula Lotte's work, so I had to get the sensational Wonder Woman #7 cover, which one of the better covers I've seen outside of the new Wonder Woman stuff, of course. And then the last one in this stack, I got Icon and Rocket Season 1. Had to get the Daryl Banks artwork on that one. Love me some 90s style Daryl Banks, and what better artist could you have doing the covers on this milestone revival than Daryl Banks. So had to get that when I saw it. Going on to the next, we've got a whole stack of Miracle Man. So basically this is a series I've wanted to read for quite a while, and that's why I've actually left the bags and boards on tape, because I'm planning on reading this whole series for sure, because it's one of the Alan Moore stories I have not read. But my comic shop, I think he had 150 on the whole Alan Moore run, which I gotta be honest, I didn't want to pay because it's basically like eBay retail currently. So luckily I had a whole bunch of Superman Man of Steel 90s toys in my garage that I just did not had anywhere to put, and it was kind of hassle to sell those things online. So I just kind of texted him on Instagram, would you be interested in these? He said sure, I could always move those. So I took them in, and he offered a pretty good price. He actually offered more than the price I had in my head. And then he's just like, you want to store credit? I'm like, absolutely. So then I was telling him I was interested in this run, and he actually knocked off another $10 off this run on top of what he gave me for all those action figures. So I got this for pretty much more than half of what was going for. So I got Miracle Man #1 in that run, so I still, once again, need to read all these Miracle Mans. And most of them are in pretty solid condition, too. So sometimes when you get stuff in bundles, you don't exactly have that time to look at every issue to make sure you don't have it tore up one, you know, put in the bundle, which he doesn't do that. I'm just saying it's happened at other stores before, but sometimes you might get the one with the occasional crease on it. But all these look like they have been well loved over the years, and yeah, I'm looking forward to really finally digging into the series and reading it for the first time. So there's issue 7, and most of these, like, the reason I want to pay like a big price, most of them are like still valued at $1 or $2, minus the ones coming up, which you could probably guess. But I just didn't want to pass up the opportunity to get this whole run like this in one form. So basically the main reason I ended up paying for it is because of the last few issues. I think 14 goes for a decent amount, but the big one was issue 15. Obviously, because all the crazy stuff that happens in this one. I remember like when Marvel reprinted it, which I think even that reprint's a little hard to track down right this second. They made sure to put it in a bag so you couldn't just open it up on the stands and look at it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what all happens in this issue here. But pretty much like this issue is valued at what I paid for the entire lot. Probably almost a little bit more based on condition. And then like that's all the bundle came with, but for whatever reason I had a copy of 16 in my collection already. I'm still looking for the issue 1 3D, which I think is its own thing. I know I bought that issue at one point, and I just need to find it in my collection because it wasn't in the M-box for some reason, so it's going to drive me crazy till I find it. But I just happen to have this one in my PC for whatever reason, and it wasn't bundled in here, so I, with that, have all of the Alan Moore Miracle Man, minus that 3D issue. So very happy to finally get a chance to sit down and read that, because digitally it's not free. The Marvel hardcovers sell for a decent amount now, so it's kind of hard to track down and read unless you pay money for reprints. So I could not pass up the opportunity to finally own the originals for an affordable price. Next up, The Boy Who Had 7. Shout out to him. He was having a sale. I think it was for one of his relatives. She had some books that she needed to sell to pay some bills off, it sounds like. So I was kind of happy to help out with that for what way I could. So some of the bundles he had up had signed comics, which you guys know me. If you watch this channel, I love me some signed comic books. So I got 1602, 1 through 8, and every single one of these is signed by Andy Kubert, who, I don't know if you guys go to cons, but before COVID, he was not a cheap free signature. He used to be free, but in the last several years with comic sketch art, you know, signing all these artists and writers, they pretty much make them charge a fee for their signature for the most part now. So I think Andy Kubert is usually like a $10 or $20 signature at this point in time, unless anything has changed. So to be able to get 8 comics signed by Andy Kubert, yeah, that was a no-brainer. Plus the 1602, I still need to read this whole run. And I wanted to give this run a read at some point because it's Neil Gaiman, it's Andy Kubert, and it's a great creative team. But he also threw in, and I do not remember adding this, so I think it was just a throw-in by The Boy Who Had 7. He threw in a free hardcover as well, so I don't even need to crack those things open now. And guess what? It's also signed by Andy Kubert, so that was very cool. I was very happy to see this hardcover because now I don't even need to open up the single issues. I can just read this copy here. And while I was, you know, trying to bundle some stuff to, you know, because I didn't want to pay just to get those shipped, I always like to bundle as many things as possible and get them put in one box. He also threw in some Dawn comics that I purchased from him. And these are all signed by Joseph Michael Linsner, which any 90s comic fan, you probably love you some Linsner. So these were signed in 2012. It's called Dawn 3 Tears. And he did the entire arc in this one in the early 2000s. So I always love some Linsner when I can get a hold of it. Just don't see it floating around in like dollar bins and such, because I don't think they printed too many of the Dawn titles, with the exception of like the original run. So I thought that was a really cool pickup for sure. And going back to some local shop stuff, I just got a steal of, well, in my opinion, a steal of a deal on these comics here. They were all $1 a piece. And And yeah, they're reader copies though, so in the comments below, definitely let me know what you guys think about, dollar reader copies and stuff. Are they worth picking up if they are detached covers and stuff? Because some of these are in decent condition, but that's why I haven't even bagged them yet, because some of them are almost just falling apart, but they're great reader copies. So I got Masters of the Universe #2, and once again, these were all for $1. This one's definitely going in some Mylar. It's a nice copy of that one. That's the Star Comics version, of course. And anytime I see these anniversary comics, I pick them up, especially these harder to find ones like Masters of the Universe. The problem, like I said, these are readers. It has some major staining on the back. That's another reason I left them out of the bag, so I kind of just highlight, or lack thereof, some of the flaws in this. I'm probably still going to press a couple of these, as you can see by the light there. Definitely has some dents that need to be pressed out. What I can do for the staining, though, probably not much at this point. And then there's an issue #5, which of course has no stains on it, just has a lot of color breaking issues. The one that kind of broke my heart the most, because when I bought it, I'm like, man, this is the steal of the month. Until I looked at the back of the cover. So I got this for $1. Care Bears #7, one of the harder to find anniversary covers. Plus it was a newsstand, which you guys know me, I love me some newsstands, and I think a lot of you out there do too. But I looked at the back, and I don't even know what that is. But yeah, that's not going anywhere. It's just got this giant stain on the back of the book. So I thought I at least got a fine copy, maybe a little bit less. Then I just turned it around. I'm like, ow. Well, at least it presents well in the collection. So got a Care Bears #7. 25th anniversary on that one. And then the rest were all Thundercats. So anytime I see Thundercats, I'm buying it at this point, because it's almost like Ninja Turtles. People pricing books see these 80s properties and they just add $1 or $2 just because of the property. So I was really excited when I saw his first book, of course, but cover's detached. It's beat up. It's probably worth every bit of $1 in its condition. And that's Thundercats #1. Once again, I got real excited when I saw Thundercats #1 newsstand edition. But as you can see, this thing is as wrecked as an 80s comic can get. Yeah, it's it's not that great, but hey, it's still a Thundercats #1, so why not add it to the PC again? I've got a much better copy than that already stored away. Issue 2 is kind of the same story. But I think most of these, if not, well, there's a few that aren't newsstand, but almost every one of these was a newsstand too. So there's actually a few good quality copies in this that I needed to fill this run, because you just don't find these for $1 anymore. So I got a #8 as well. This one's actually really nice. So I'm happy with some of them, but like I said, others are worth every bit of $1 in the condition they're in. And here's the one that's a direct edition, #10. At least that one's in really nice condition. Issue #11. Got an issue 12. And issue #14, which this one already has some shipping on the side, the staple side. And then the last one, a late run one, issue 22. So always happy to get Thundercats. But yeah, so some reader copies for sure in there. And then I got some eBay stuff here. So I haven't been doing too much purchasing on eBay, but I did have one seller I found who was hooking up some big deals. And their listings, it was just like, the first one, I'll spoil it right now, it was a Runaways lot. So their listing just said, Runaways lot. So what all it came with, you actually had to click in, look at the description and that stuff. Otherwise, the people searching for Runaways #1 may or may not have found this lot. So I think I paid $50 for this whole stack of comics. And obviously this has been on my want list for several years now, almost probably a decade since I've read the original Brian K. Vaughan Runaways. So I've always wanted a copy of Runaways. I don't care what anyone says about the show. It's a decent show, but I really enjoy the comic book. I think they're underrated, underutilized characters, and I absolutely love this run of Runaways for sure. So not only did I get the first issue, though, I got a very good chunk of this first and second run of Runaways. So I don't actually own a lot of the Runaways in individual issue. I mainly have the hardcovers, So to be able to finally get a good deal on the individual comics, there's one or two missing, of course, but hey, I'll still take this run, no problem, just to get a quality copy of that issue 1. So I believe the first run ran 18 issues, if I remember right, and then Brian K. Vaughan's second part of the run ran, I think, 24 issues before him and Joss Whedon did the place swap on Buffy and Runaways, which not too many people back in the day were crazy about, but at least he still got 2 good runs before that. And he also threw in, wow, that one really needs a press, the second run of Runaways. So not only did I get Runaways Volume 1, Number 1, I got Runaways Number 1, Volume 2. So also needed this in the collection. So like I said, this one was a no-brainer to pick up for me. So very happy with that. So pretty much got 90% of the Brian K. Vaughan Runaways stuff right in this lot. But that wasn't all. And all these were free shipping, even though I bought 2 lots from him. That was not all. So the biggest steal I got from him was the Captain America lot, which I think was maybe either 50 or 100 bucks. I don't remember at this point because I bought it at the beginning of September, and I'm filming this in early October. But once again, I mean, it was almost just like a few bucks an issue. And anytime I can buy this for a few bucks, it's a no-brainer. It's my favorite run of Captain America. It starts the Ed Brubaker run with Steve Epting. And yeah, this one was a no-brainer for the price I paid for it. Especially since it came with this. Captain America number 6, the Bucky / Winter Soldier cover I have not been able to get my hands on. So this is the main reason I bought this whole lot. To get this variant cover for Cap 6, and obviously right now it's very sought after, so to basically be able to buy this whole lot for less than the cost of this book alone, yeah, I was definitely going in on this lot big time. So, and it came with some other books, like I got a Cap 350, which is a decent book to have right now. Got a 289 in a newsstand, an issue 240. Had a random Jack Kirby cover on 193 there, the return of Jack Kirby to Cap, so that was a random cool throw-in that was in there. And then there's just a lot of other ones from the Brubaker run. I think it goes up until like 17 or 18, which, I'm sorry, it actually goes up until the death of Captain America, so I got all those. And actually, I don't think I had the second print on 25, so I was kind of actually happy that this one was thrown in. And then the other cool ones it came with some of the post-Civil War stuff, so I actually got some of the Fallen Sons I didn't have. So I got the Avengers Fallen Sun Death of Captain America, the Wolverine issue, and then probably the cooler issue, because this one's seeing a little bit of heat right now, because I guess this is the first time the 2 Hawkeyes appeared on a cover together. Clint and Kate Bishop on the same cover together, so I thought that was really awesome. So I was very happy that this was at the end of that lot as well. So yeah, got some keys in there. Very happy with those lots. Alright, so now it's time to look at some of the toys I picked up in the month of September. So ended up pre-ordering this one on Amazon. I keep telling myself I'm not going to go too deep on these McFarlane DC Universe characters, because they do too many of the same characters in my opinion, but I always have a soft spot for the Dark Knight Returns stuff, so I had to get the Armored Batman for Dark Knight Returns, and this thing is a heavy beast. I'm probably going to go ahead and unbox this and put it in the collection behind me, but always got to pick these up when I see them. Always enjoy Dark Knight Returns figures. Now hopefully they make a matching Carrie Kelly, so I can put it with this character in the background there. And then shout out to Drew from the Comic Corps. He hooked it up with this bad boy right here. I have not been able to find too many of these Walmart exclusives around here, and Drew got his hands on the Casey Jones Raphael 2-pack for pretty much the suggested retail price that Walmart had it, so he ended up selling it to me for that same price. So big shout out to Drew for finally hooking me up with a Casey Jones NECA figure, because I can't find any of the Casey Jones stuff, whether it be the movie one, the animated one that was a Target exclusive with April. That thing was a complete ghost around here. So very happy to put this one in the collection for sure. And then I also, like I said at the top of the video, I have this bad boy Loot Crate box that I have not unboxed yet. So I guess at the end of this video, we'll do an exclusive unboxing of what all's going on in this box. So I just went ahead and cut the tape earlier before I started filming. So let's see what Loot Crate gives you. Looks like got a little bit here. So the main event, obviously, that drew me to subscribing to all these boxes is the Danny Pennington movie figure. Because as a kid, I always wanted like the Kinos and the Danny Penningtons to play with the other characters that I have displayed back here now, but they never made them for whatever reason. So finally, in the year 2021, we get Danny Pennington as an action figure. So I had to have that. It's the only time he's ever had a figure. So very happy to get this in the collection finally. This is the first time I'm getting a chance to look at it. So it's kind of cool because you come with the foot headband and then no foot headband as your head's there. And he gets a Walkman as well because this movie was made in 1990. So really happy to add that to the collection. Also comes with a t-shirt, it looks like, which I don't remember what size I put on this t-shirt, but it feels very heavy. And luckily I got an XL on that bad boy. So there's the front of the shirt, and actually it is a long t-shirt. So there you go. Front, it's kind of basic, but hey, I kind of just like the back better. I wish it was just the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie font there. So not bad. Like I said, at least it feels heavy quality. We also, oh wow, these are really cool. So you get some nice metal pins there to go with my toys that Drew got me. So you get Casey and Raph there. So very nice, like heavy duty metal pins. And then it looks like we might have some drink coasters here, so these will definitely be going in my living room downstairs. The cool thing about that is that's in the comic book style. So you get the Ninja Turtles there, and then on the other side you get original comic Shredder. So really cool. And then just some sort of card that pretty much sums up, I think, everything you get. So yeah, there you go. There's the Loot Crate unboxing of the first TMNT toy box, whatever you want to call it. So pretty happy with that. Can't wait to see what next month's. Hopefully it's monthly at this point. It took forever to get to this point of getting these because I think I pre-ordered them like maybe 6 months ago. So happy those are finally turning up in people's houses. Finally. Alright, so if you guys made it to this point, big huge thanks for watching this entire comic book action figure haul. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that stuff. Stay tuned for more updates. And don't forget, if you're watching this in October of 2021, I'm currently reviewing all of the Harry Potter movies. I've never seen them before, so definitely go check out that playlist right here on this channel. But until next time, big thank you guys for catching this video.